Now, train service on the North-East line was disrupted for more than 6 hours this morning due to a power fault. Needless to say, thousands of commuters were affected during rush hour.
To tell us more, we now cross live to multimedia journalist Farzanah Friday, who's standing outside Punggol MRT station. Friday?
So, Friday, you said that off-air that communication was poor and confusing on the part of SBS Transit to the commuters. What do you mean by that?
Well, Olivia, while SBS Transit provided shuttle services and free budging bus services between the affected stations, commuters actually received different instructions from the ground staff. So a passenger actually spoke to ST and shared that the signboards on the stations didn't put in the end destinations for the shuttle train timings, and they had to rely on ground staff to figure out where the end destinations were. With the chaos and everyone being very busy, it's understandable that it was quite disruptive. Furthermore, some commuters who first heard that disruptions were only between Punggol and Buangkok were actually turned away from entering the stations, and of course this is because of the 10:40 a.m. announcement that was made stating all train services were suspended for the repair works. The miscommunication was also caused a delay because they had to wait for the next bridging bus.
Now, Friday, we're not strangers to train breakdowns, but tell us a little bit more about why this breakdown was particularly disruptive.
All right, thanks, Dylan. So for some context, last Friday there was a train fault at Harbourfront Station at night. So unlike that one, this today was a lot worse because it spanned during the peak hours. And as we know, the peak hours is where people go to work and go to school, so it's particularly disruptive. And especially because it spanned for 6 hours and affected a lot more other stations overall. Now, because there were regular train services between Serangoon and Hougang MRT stations were replaced by shuttle train services. So it was all the 6 stations from Punggol to Serangoon that were affected. Now, it's also worthy to note that Sengkang and Punggol are the main points of their own LRT stations. So what this means is it adds up a larger margin of people who were affected by the train disruption.
Well, thanks so much, Friday. That was, of course, multimedia journalist Farzanah Friday reporting live from Punggol MRT station.
Now, Friday was reporting from about the disruption earlier. Here's what she had to say.
It's the stuff of nightmares for commuters. A breakdown in train services during the morning rush hour. A power fault hit the North-East line for 6 hours. From 6 a.m, Punggol, Sengkang and Buangkok MRT stations were affected. But by 10:40 a.m, it got worse. SBS Transit announced all train services between Punggol and Hougang MRT stations were stopped completely to facilitate repair works. And it didn't take long for commuters to show their unhappiness, sharing photos of crowded train platforms at affected stations on social media. Some reporting up to 40 minutes delay on their journeys. Free bridging bus services were available, but commuters who the Straits Times spoke to said communication was poor and confusing. Although SBS Transit also provided a shuttle train service, these efforts were insufficient to ease the peak hour morning crowds at Punggol and Sengkang MRT stations, which are the main hubs of 2 LRT networks.